there are certain icons we cannot, skip. Diva is one of them.
But everything we are can be traced back easily to David.
On a scale of 1 to 10 of the people that helped the development of sound in Zimbabwe, I would put Diva on 9 over 10.
Diva, chipo chandakapuwa na Mwale. Ndi David wombaibisi.
The landlocked country of Zimbabwe has a slowly growing sound engineering sector. Many have emerged and taken the stage in the slowly growing showbiz sector. Others, like Diva, saw this growth early and ran with it. Through perseverance and persistence, the name of this young lad began to take root in the minds of both the working class and the elite.
Live sound in any performance is very critical in building the profile of a group.
The Zimbabwean entertainment industry is it's a lot of untapped ground. There's still a lot to be done in our industry.
Who is Diva Mwale?
Diva Mwale akaberekwa gore ra 1972. Ndakaita vakomana, musikana wekutanga kuchiya mukomana, kuchiya musikana kuchizoya Diva. Kuchizoya vakomana vaviri mushure maDiva.
And my inspiration, my support was my mom and dad. My dad was a security guard, but he was a hustler. I remember every time when he used to go on night shift. So every morning when he comes back from work, you sell firewood. We help him chop firewood to sell, and we also started making bricks to sell to send us through to school.
Chitanga kumziwa yanga iri team yekubank asati aita zvecompany Different Concert Sound. So part time ndo yanga iri disco.
Muziva kare vabereki tarisingafariri izvozvo, taingoti vana musikanzwa zvina kunaka zvinoita ubenzi, asi akangoshingirira achiita izvozvo, achiita zvemadisco. Zvaakanga ari kuZimbank zvaingova izvozvo nenguva yatantiriwo zvava zvinhu zvakareruka, asi ndinoona kuti paakabva kuZimbank ndakubva ndikati kozvadii zvikanzi amai ndiri kushandira bhazi, saka ndafunga kuti ndiite zvinhu zvangu ndega. Nemunin'ina wake baba watinacho Innocent ndobva vangobatana. Innocent akanga ari mudiki kwaari, ndobva atanga kuita zvaari kuita izvozvizvi zvakatsimudzira chaizvo nyangwe mumhuri.
Vangotanga tozoona hatone maspika akatone nhingi totonzwa yakutonzi divine.
Mamwe vanohaiwa kumichato, mamwe vanohaiwa kunotaurwa vakuru mainstruments yayo.
In 1993, I had my first daughter, Vanessa. And then 2 years later, I had another son, Vincent. My wife, Daisy, then. Daisy, I think we say maybe we a schoolmate love story that we grew up in the same Bronx, where we grew up together. But then as we grew older, we separated. She went to UK, and I stayed in Zimbabwe, where I stayed, and then I remarried Sharon, and there were 2 kids, Zoe and Zara. And we think we stayed together, and then we didn't work out for some time. And then I split again with her. And then I got married to Maggie, who is my current wife now. We've got 2 daughters as well. So in total, I've got 6 kids.
David's kids all know each other very well and are all bonded as one family. All the mothers are the mothers to all the kids, and even go on holidays together. Like all great empires, there is always a start to the story. A former banker who started a business that became an anchor to an industry sector, started by blowing other people's speakers as he tried to master the craft.
I met David in the year 1999 when we were working together at ZB Bank as bank tellers. And at that time, David was popularly known as Shackstone because he was a DJ. He also promoted piracy. He's one of the very few people to start that business.
I used to do DJing with my brother, Raymond Kazembe. I used to do DJing together with him. We used to go places. Remember one of the gigs that we did at Nego House, it was sold out. And he used to be called DJ Chamington. I was called DJ Snagger D.
It may have been this prophetic name that availed hard cash that led to him getting capital to his first piece of gear.
Diva akabva kure, and Diva akatanga from small things, like way back around 90, 91, and I shandisa ka small deck. You know, to my deck, to shanda kare to come again rewind. Zvinhu izvozvo zvainorira munzvimbo dzakaita fanira namavhuku rufaro my schools, and they were very small things.
One day there's a friend of mine who used to work at Barclays. His name was Bonnie. He passed through and when you were playing music. So he came and approached me and said, "Can you play at my engagement party?" I said, "No, I'm not a DJ, I'm just playing for the fun of it." He said, No, that will do. So a week later, we went and played at his engagement party, and people loved it, and he loved it. So he engaged us to play at his wedding, which we did. I remember at the wedding, I went and borrowed my mom's friend's speakers to use at the wedding at Tafarao, and then unfortunately the speakers blew up at the end, before the end of the wedding. I think 1993, I had my first child. I was still working in the bank. I'm a banker professionally. I had my first child. And I remember there was a lady, one of my clients, Joanne Cock. She came to me, she said to me, "David, you're a child. How can a child have a child?" And then she started crying, and then she supported me throughout. And then she asked me what I needed to do to get extra money, because my salary wasn't enough to look after the child. So I told her, I love music, I love playing. So she facilitated for me to go to South Africa and get some equipment. The money she gave me, I managed to buy 2 8-inch speakers. And my mom used to do cross-border, doiris. She went and bought me a mixer.
Ndopa akachitanga manje kuchiitawo hiring company, achidhilawo nemakambani akaita fanga ana Phoenix, ana Kevin, yakunzi Sound Fantastic nasi ana Pete, achingosumuka from there. Kudzingara azosumukawo kuzokura kusvika pa Divine Productions to Divine Concert Sound yako today.
So there's a white man called Kevin Mwale. Kevin Mwale had lots of speakers in his garage. So I approached him and we came to an agreement that I would use his equipment, then I would give him a portion of whatever I get from the events. So we agreed, and then we started on a partnership. So every weekend I would do events, and working in a bank was good for me because I had interaction with clients. So most of my clients at the bank used to call me, bank, so that's where I started getting more jobs from the bank.
Everything that he got in, he would reinvest in new equipment. And that, I think, is one of the key things of Diva's success.
Used to rock around in his BMW, and those were I think he was still at the beginning of his sound career. We didn't interact for a while, till we then met again later on at church, at Jabula New Life, where I was serving in the media team.
I must announce to you that God's timing is so perfect.
So I started to go to New Life. I joined the sound team with Farai Tagarapio on the lead, and we started doing sound there. I was still in the bank. And then I remember also Oliver Tuku used to get his equipment from new life for his events. And I remember Vusa was the engineer, so Vusa would come and hire the equipment. Then we'd go do setup with Farai. And I learned from there. I remember I used to go to even the events for Togo events, we used to set up for free, just for the love of music.
Vusa Moyo became a household name and was the only preferred audio mixing engineer for a while. And this caught Tuku's attention, and from there, his exposure to sound changed as he traveled around the world with Oliver Mtukudzi, learning and coming to implement the same things locally, hence improving local productions.
Paita the sound, ainyanyozowana majobs, involve lights, screens, stage. But by then, big time I want to involvement varungu vanga that equipment like my lights ne my Steve yanga richi Intela and Phonics. Those guys ndo vaiwanzoita my lights and stage and trussing Diva basically yanga with sound.
We worked together with Diva from the year 2009 in his company Divine Concept Sound until right about in the year 2013 when I said to Diva, I want to start doing lighting. So Diva said, okay, you want to do lighting? Then I said, yeah. So Diva said, okay, we will buy lights. So Diva went to China and then to buy lights for me to start my own company, Epic Sets. He's one of the pillars that helped me to set up this company, and I'm so grateful to him.
2015, 2014, that's when he bought the stage. Trussing. Tatanga was it as a stage and sound. Certain my lights.
Diva was very popular for his HK. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, you would go to a gig and Diva was there, you would definitely feel the bass right here, and he had this thing with the HK that no one really had. He had this advantage over it. And everyone who would come into Zim would then, flock to him.
Yeah, Diva is not just trusted name individuals, companies, but even in governments. For instance, our government and even foreign government, Malawian government, wakatotipa mabasa, and then we did mabasa akawanda. But those works, they've got a lot of pressure.
In the country, I don't think there is anyone who has done more events than Diva.
A free family festival is coming to Blantyre.
We did Love Malawi Festival. We did Tyrus Rally. We did Morgan Heritage, Winky D, Job Praisers.
I remember Pakachata Bona, Divine ndio yakapewa basi kuti vanoita instrument pamuchato wa Bona.
The wedding was tough, and the mothers, they're so particular, and we put through, but it was tough. And then some of other service providers who were there, with pressure.
Ndinoziva kuti haisiriyo yega Divine inoita zve-instrument chichichi, but yakaonekwa iyo kuti ndiyo yakanga ine zvinhu zvakanga zvakakodzera kuti ihoste such a big occasion yemuchato waBona. Saka ndicho chimwe chinhu chakatipa mukurumbira, I think, to the whole nation.
We did an event at church, and Divine Concert Sound was hired to provide sound. And then when they came, it was just sound on another level, like prior to what we were used to in church. So that's when I first encountered Diva and his team.
The Zayoja 50th anniversary, which was supposed to happen at the Nesa Sports Stadium, I managed to partner with Dave Davis, who did the staging and the lighting, and I did the sound. I think that was one of my biggest shows in terms of income.
I think if there was to be a national event where we bring in artists from everywhere, I can guarantee you Diva will be at the table discussing what needs to be done or what needs to be provided for.
When an event is to take place, preparation is key. The Showbiz has a technical specifications document, often referred to as the technical rider. It gives the equipment supplier a list of what the artists and bands require for their performances. Since Diva has hosted many international acts and artists, the question that arises is, how much gear would one have to accumulate in order to satisfy all the band's needs?
Working with the international artists in general is challenging because you're dealing with people who are particular.
One of the greatest highlights of my sound of the big shows was Cableton. I remember when Cableton came, it was brought in by Mama Red Rose. When he went for tech interview, tech meeting with the manager from Cableton manager, we were sitting in the interview room, and then we were talking. So Mama Red Rose introduced me, saying, "No, this is David, the guy who's not doing your sound." And I remember the manager, Captain, it was a lady. She asked me, "You saying, is this a DJ or is this a guy who's..." He said, no, this is a guy who's going to be supplying all the equipment for your gig. And I remember the lady looked at me and said, no, man, this young boy here, he's just a young boy. He can't supply such a big show. I said, no, you do the show. So the lady didn't believe Mama Red Rose. So I remember throughout the setup of the show, she came through and checked on me, and she checked to make sure that was what we wanted on the check rider was supplied. And we did pull out the show. I remember at the end of the, after sound check, she came to me and said, "My son, well done, you've done well. I didn't believe that you could do this show, but this is excellent." The
Italian Jazz Festival, I think that was my first big festival that I worked with Diva. And we had the late Oliver Mtukudzi and his late son, Sem Mtukudzi, and some guys from Mozambique, Malawi, who came also to perform for that concert. We did Peace Squad. When Peace Squad came to Harare, we sent our quotation through to Delta, but the was turned down. They said we were too expensive. And then I think they approached Haifa to do the show. Since Haifa was a well-organized and reputable supplier of events, event coordinator. And then Haifa then approached me because Haifa didn't have equipment. They used to subcontract us to do their events. So I managed to do the Peace Squad event at the Glamis Stadium, which was sold out. Over 17,000 people came through. It was sold out. From there, Peace Squad, I think we're supposed to go and perform in Malawi and Zambia. In Zambia, we got the deal through Jomo Mone. He helped me get the deal for Zambia. The show was also sold out in Zambia for Peace Squad. From there, we came back, went to Malawi for Peace Squad again. We're going for the Peace Squad concert in Malawi. And we did challenges before because we had been sitting at the border for 2 days or so because of some paperwork issues, but yeah. At the border in Mozambique, our trucks were impounded by the customs in Mozambique. The show was supposed to be on Friday, but then the trucks were impounded on Thursday. Friday, they wouldn't let us go. The promoter Malawi had get the High Commissioner in Mozambique to let us pass. Then eventually the show happened on a Sunday, but it rained all day, all night. So, but then the ticket show was also sold out as well. We did another show in Zambia with Yuma Sekela at Mlungushi Stadium, at Mlungushi Conference Center. And then we did another show with Kirk Franklin in Mlungushi Stadium as well. There we only supplied the backline. Then he had another show in Harare at the Harare Conference Center, which we did as well. Don McClarkin at the Glamis Arena. We also did Sinachi, Glamis. Sinachi also did Sinachi at the HICC. We also did Max Priest at the Bordeaux Race Course. And then ZTA brought in Joe Thomas at the HICC.
In the area of music, technology has actually been one of the major challenges that we found ourselves in here in this country. I think many people may remember when Joe Thomas came into the country.
Joe Thomas, that one was a challenge because we didn't have enough equipment like required by their tech rider. So I remember when we did set up, got equipment from Kevin, the manager for Joe Thomas came through and said, no. This sound is not enough. This sound what you have put in here, we use it for clubs in America. And then we had a challenge. I remember we were running around trying to get more speakers. And then I had a friend, we had hired a sound from Celebration Church. There's some EVs that we had, I think, and took out at 2 in the morning to set for the Joe Thomas show. And then the manager was impressed. And then we did the show, it was a success.
Some other artists that were hosted by Diva include Ron Kennelly. This was both locally and in Malawi. TK, Mavado, Sizzler, Elephant Man, Morgan Heritage, Third World, Coffee Olomide, and the list goes on and on.
But one of my shows that I enjoyed the most was when Coco T came with Phantom Moja at the Grammys. It was also brought in by Castle Lager. That show was sold out. That was the best of my show that I ever did. And I remember during the show, my wife called me that she was in labor. And I tried to come out. I couldn't come through because the car was blocked. When you come through, I couldn't come out. At the time I came out after the show, the baby was already born. And my wife, she was furious with me. There was a jazz festival at Misty's Jazz Festival at Levy Business Park. So Tuku's manager, Sema Taure, I had gone for the meeting with the promoter in Zambia. And he told them, no, there's a guy in Zimbabwe who does sound as well. So the guy, the guy from Levy invited me for a meeting and sent me the tech rider. I said, will I be able to do the event? It was Chuku and Yuma Sekela and Zonke. I said, yes, we can pull through. So we went, we did that event with Chuku, Yuma Sekela, and Zonke, which was a sold out. And then the guy was impressed. And his name is Ignatius. Ignatius was the manager. He used to run the Mrs. nightclub in Levy Business Park, Zambia. So he invited us for the next Jazz Festival next year, where he brought in, there was Yuma Sekela as well, there's Mikasa, there was El Clue from the United States, was doing the jazz, we came through. And when he went, I remember the tech team that he had was from South Africa. And when he went, I remember we had challenges with the check manager because of the sound. The light that we had, we didn't have what they on the spec, but we had some Chinese lights. And the guy didn't approve. I remember we had issues, but then the manager of the event, Ignatius, said, no, whatever is there, if you can use it, let's use it. And then we used those equipment. The show was also a success. And even the guy from South Africa, the tech team, after the end of the show, he came through and said, no, guys, you know what, when you came with the equipment, I didn't know you guys you could do this.
It was so important to invest in the changing technology in order to ensure that Zimbabwe is a destination for international artists. But also the government of Zimbabwe, through the National Arts Council, has also played a critical role in also giving what we call the duty-free facility to those that are registered with the Arts Council, and that window has remained open.
Yeah, my events akaita se ndikakupa imenzanisoo wacho Thomas. Ma managers ma artists anobva kunze paanouya kunoku anenge achiona kunge tiri vanhu vasingatozivi ende vanhu vekuti vanenge vakatooma kuti ushande navo, but chinozoitika ndechekuti Diva semunhu ari humble anozvininipisa and then osvika paextend yekuti anomuonesawo kuti koti kadai zvinoita sei, but at the end of the day unotozopedzera watozoona kuti uya anga achitozotionera pasi kutozopedzera kutotita iwa kana muchitoita ndokwanisa kutonge ndichizoshanda nemi kana ndadzoka kana kuti patinoenda samadha pavanenge vachizoenda kumadzimwe nyika dzakatitenderedza anotenga izinga akutoti dai tatoenda tese.
My first involvement with Diva was through Haifa.
Imwe event yatakaita kunyanya nguva refu iyi Haifa.
People are more discerning these days. They want to go to a quality concert.
And the sensitive stage yavo global stage. So iyo yakapiwa Diva kuti provide PA ikoko ni as a technical person ikoko. Then we did that for at least about more than 13 years or so. Tichita global stage. And global stage kwakauya ma-artist akasiyana siyana. And kwaiuya sound engineers akasiyana siyana. But mostly takanyanyozosenza neumwaizi Blong Blong. And then Blong Blong wacho akatozosvika mukurecommenda kuti you should keeping Diva kuti aramba achita se achiprovide PA nekuti mastandards ake they were high.
Well, Haifa was a major event in our lives for many, many years. I think it provided a learning platform for all of us. When we started, we were all young. We didn't really know what we were doing, but it developed into something that was a really high-profile platform that gave a voice and a stage to so many people in the arts industry.
We should be paying tribute to people like Vana Diva, who over the years have been working very hard to ensure that they keep up the pace, keep up with the technology, and remain providing the necessary equipment with technological advancement to ensure whether it's state events, public events that are there, they give the best sound that is available.
I think one of the best events Yangaria Fali Pupa. I'm a Ruba fan, Saga. That gig, I think, in Andrew Bass is always go joy.
The fun moments, basically, most of the time they are fun moments.
Panyaya chikafu paka ninye pressure nebasa redu rimwe time ndekuti kana chikafu chacho pachinenge chiripo hamukwanise kuenda kwachiri kunodya zvokuti maitozo otherwise sevakomana taizongorelaya nekuti ngatitengere mabhanzi nemabanana totongoita zviripo wozi mabhanzi nebanana iriko yakabvira kare nanhasi Malawi dragon baba.
Churches are the biggest consumers of audio in any society. Before any house of worship can afford their own public address systems, entrepreneurs like David Mwale accumulate a little wealth through them. Though this is subjective, cause with great works come great recommendations.
Throughout my career in New Life as a sound guy, we started getting more events like conferences for churches. Peter Van Deventer from Out Choice used to have a dealership for HK. We struck a deal that he would buy me equipment on account, then I would pay him monthly. So my first big sound was HK Deacon, 4 subs and 2 tops. And then I also bought some multi-buy monitors. And Rob Holland also came into my life because Rob was agent for Alan and Heath mixers.
Rob Holland is one person who deserves the title, Zimbabwe's Godfather of Sound.
Rob Holland just really chugged away and showed us that, this is how it's done out there. And I believe there's so many names and brands in Zimbabwe who, even if they're placed out there, their workmanship, their skill is totally and amazingly respected.
Since I joined Divine Concert Sound, there has been a lot of advancement in technology, and even in the company. We no longer use analog mixers, but when I joined, they were there, but we had a balance of digital versus analog.
So I remember the Dongwai in 20 pakatenga kana anything that was new. I would to Yamushitiri.
Large gatherings, be it indoor or outdoor, require huge PA systems, which come with great power. Could the contour system from HK recently bought by Diva fill in the gap, or someone's pockets and faith need to be stretched some more? But needless to say, where there is a will, there is always a way and opportunity. Besides, opportunity avails itself during the process of preparation.
I remember the first purchase of the contour line array from HK, and really it's changed the industry also, in the sense that once the contour got in, that's when the whole line of line arrays started flocking in, because people now realized that this was a potential key to impacting the market.
Can you tell me, what are you here for? Akon.
In Sean Paul.
In Sean Paul.
Yeah.
But of the two artists, which one do you like most?
Akon for sure.
You like Akon?
Yeah, Akon
okay.
for sure. Show Akon and Akon in Zimbabwe. Akon in Sean Paul. I was there.
Peter Van Devert, one of the local PA system suppliers, clinched a deal to provide sound for Akon and Sean Paul at the National Sports Stadium at a concert which had been cancelled. A bigger sound system was needed. One wonders if Zimbabwe had a system readily available to pump the bass across the almost 200-meter long stadium and fill the ears of fun lovers on the terraces with resounding melodies. This is when the Kohidra, which became Diva's signature system, saw the light in Zimbabwe.
When Akon and Sean Paul were coming to Zimbabwe, Peter Van Devert approached me saying, no, he'd got the contract to do the sound for Sean Paul and Akon. And he wanted to bring in a bigger system, Kohidra from HK, but then he wanted someone to partner with, because the system was too big for him to bring in by himself. So by then I didn't have enough money to buy it, because they were talking about $250,000 to get the equipment. And for me then was sort of, wow, that's a lot of money. So he says, no, we can split into half. Like the brother of mine also used to support me, Franco, we call him Franco, Frank Samurio. So every time I made money from the events, it was going to pay for my account with HK, for all the equipment that I was getting. And from there, I never looked back.
We also moved from, even from our mixers, from the old analog mixers, to now moving to the digital platform. We are now using digital mixers and all that. And the transformation for me is always mind-blowing, because we know where he started, and where he's at now is really another level.
There has been additions to the company. Now it's more like an AV company that provides lighting, stage, trusses, a lot of stuff other than just sound.
From the 90s onwards, Zim's economy took a bit of a dip, well, not a bit, but quite a dip. And it was more of just survival of the fittest. So you would find that if you couldn't catch a cow, it was better to eat a mouse than not eat at all. So then people just began to adjust prices as to the client, as to the client's ability.
With Diva, everyone is family. In the industry, we are all family, we're all one family. And it does not, there's no, personally, I've never heard of a scuffle between Diva and anyone, It's either, no, guys, I can't cover this show, can you cover it for me?
I think his passion for sound is beyond just himself. It's just to see the live sound engineering and the industry in Zimbabwe and even in Africa.
In essence, we are supposed to be competition, but Diva will come through for you and make sure that your event is a success. So what do you say to someone like that? What can you take from someone like that?
Because that's the kind of person Diva is. It's more about relationships than anything else.
I don't even think he takes competition, because when he's doing his job, sometimes he puts like everything on 100%. Be it it's a small event, be it it's a big event.
Industry, anytime we no stress.
With such great investments by local stakeholders, one would wonder why other event planners would rather import service providers from abroad.
I personally feel the reason why they sometimes choose outside service providers is solely based on our lack of a representing board in Zimbabwe.
When we're going to grow this sector to become an industry, one thing that we need to contribute to the building blocks of this industry are the creation of societies, guilds. For example, in the audiovisual, do we have organizations to write home about? Do they know what they are fighting for? Do people that supply sound in this country, do they feel they remain competitive and therefore they don't need to be united in order to take advantage and be able also to take an audit of who has what and when? We know in our neighboring countries, South Africa, for example, they've graded service providers.
Ya ipapapo Diva aita basa hombe chaizvo kunyanya kuindustry yedu nekuti akasumudza vanhu vakawanda nanhasi achiri kusumudza vanhu vakawanda nekuda kwokuti Diva ane passion nezvemhanzi and ndichitauro paupenyu hwangu inini Diva akandisumudza pane zvinhu zvakawanda.
Tammy, Vusa and Ephraim, we cannot say we cannot talk about the sound industry without mentioning these people.
Tendai Madeu, Ngoni, Danford Madzika, I would say Soba, Cousin Dread, Bana Jabu, the DJ, Obet, Linton, Clyde, Mauricio.
As Zimbabwe went on, we kept on growing, we kept on advancing. The technology started getting better, our skills started getting better. We realized it's not only about ears and equipment, but there's also academics to it.
Ya kana inini ndichimuona inini ndinotomutora seka Mini University.
Hands-on training at Audio Academy, which is Zimbabwe's only college dedicated to the training of audio engineering, has benefited through David Mwale, as students manage to attend setups and have the privilege of getting in contact with international celebrities such as Morgan Heritage, Benjamin, Davido, and so many more.
Diva gave many a start. We are here, Naleta Media. It's part and parcel of Diva's training ground. You name them, the renowned sound engineers within the country. They all have worked with Diva before.
Ndoda kumutenda naye kuti mwanangu Mwari ndiye anokutenda nezvakanaka zvaunoita. Ramba wakadaro sazocheuka kana kuteerera zvinotaurwa nevamwe vanhu. Ramba une mwoyo wako iwoyo nokuti ndo zvauri ndo zvaunoda nokuti zvaanoita zvakanaka zvinji haamanikidzwe anoita zvinobva pasi pemwoyo wake.
I mean, I get emotional when I think of Diva. And thank you sounds like a few words, just two, but from where we are, where we sit, It means a lot to have walked with him, walk with him, and him not being jealous of you or of anything you're trying to achieve.
Wakaita basa nekuendiendesa kubasa nekunza kundiudza kubasa kuti ndikwanise kushanda, ndikwanise kuona mari, ndikwanise kuziva kuti zvinofamba sei muupenyu yekuzvishandira, kwete zvokuti zvokuba kana zvokubatira bata. Akadzidzisa kuti tinofanira kuzvishandira nemaoko edu kuti zvinhu zvifambe muupenyu.
Diva, I'm so grateful to the way you have helped me as a person, and I can't call you my friend because I'm so close to you, more than a friend. You are a brother to me, and thank you for helping all these other people. You are helping other families to put food on their tables by giving them jobs, and that's quite important in the development of humankind.
Paakatanga kurekedza basa takatombozvishora tisita kungaita zvemagitari kutorekedza zvebasa, but takutoona kuti zvine zvayo zvine pundutso.
So I would like to say thank you very much for that support and that hands-on sababa kupowa guideline yekuti mwana wangu akote kuti isusu hatiwane mari tichidaro na mari chidai so.
Diva, okay, I can only say thank you. I think I never got a chance or never, took time to say this, but thank you. You really have impacted my life in more ways than you can imagine. Even to thank you for your impact on the whole industry of engineers in Zimbabwe, the whole sound industry.
To Diva, I would want to say, / Boss Mwale, like what would say, Boss Mwale, I want to thank you for the opportunity, for the exposure, mainly the young people, and keep on doing what you're doing, encouraging us, encouraging other people who want to be in the industry.
Look, we have had very great relationship as National Arts Council and as the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation. Every time when we needed sound, Diva had always been there to give.
Diva, thank you for being a great partner over the years of Haifa. It was an honor, and we had some really great years together. I know it was tough, and we had to kind of cut our cloth to make everything happen, but I think you did a really great job. Thank you.
Diva, I would say thank you very much for giving us opportunities like these. I think for most guys, most sound engineers in Zimbabwe, for them to be called really called sound engineers, it's one way or the other because of Diva.
Diva ndoona kuti munhu ane rudo. Kubvira pandakatanga kumuona Diva. Diva mfesi wangu.